First of all, I'm extremely disturbed that the only arguments I've heard in favour of this project this evening appear to be the overused Jewish guilt argument, which of course is just a form of reverse discrimination.
I'm not in favour of the project.
Do you mind? Which of course, the Jewish guilt argument, which is way overused, is just a form of reverse discrimination against the neighbours, the people who've signed this register.
Take offence
It's
at
a
that.
tired old argument. But as for people making reference to Hasid, well, that's because that's what they call themselves. If it was nunnery, they'd call them Roman Catholic Church people, or
Not
as
true.
you say, Muslims.
Mr. Atlas, this is not a dialogue,
would-
and
they
if
call-
you don't agree with what Mr. Searle says, it's been my occasionally don't agree with what he says, but he has the right to say it, and so please don't interrupt any
I will
further.
conclude by saying that calling an apple, an orange or an orange is not discrimination. It's calling an apple, or an orange. Thank you. Now, Mr. Perez took umbrage at the fact that I referred to the Jewish guilt approach. Well, the Jewish guilt approach we see a lot because not so often as we used to. That's when an argument is put forward without foundation, the notion being that because we said it's Jewish, you can't say anything against it. That's the whole point of the exercise. You hear about anti-Semitic. You don't hear about anti-Armenian or anti-Russian or it's a role taken on by the Jewish community and used for all it can be worth. So I believe I'll be dissident here. I want to see the referendum go ahead, and I want to hear from the rabbi coming out and make proofs of his vicious allegations of anti-Semitism, which are so far unproved.
An indication of anti-Semitism, I lived it at the consultation.
Agreed.
Well, so you stand corrected once again.
No,
Very
I don't.
good.
You're not the rabbi here.
No,
I'm
but
referring to the rabbi.
I
Well,
lived.
This has got nothing to do with the rabbi.
I will give you
and the other
I will give you
proponents.
your turn back again, Mr.
No,
Searle.
you
Yes,
were not one of the proponents
Mr.
of the
Searle,
project.
do
I
not
referred to the
interrupt me.
proponents.
Do not interrupt me.
Well,
I
don't
don't.
invent
I
things.
don't interrupt you.
Inventing
I'm
things is
strongly. I
non-parliamentary.
have a strong tendency to do so, which I control. I don't interrupt you. Don't interrupt me. You'll get a chance. You will get. You will
You're
get.
allowed to interrupt non-parliamentary language.
And what was
You're
not,
inventing-
I will indicate that, granted, it was one individual, and I'm not suggesting it was any more than that, but that deplorable incident at the CCU consultation, where a resident of this, of NDG, used the term to me, and I quote, Heil Kopman, said I was a fascist and a dictator, raised his right arm in the stiff-armed Nazi salute. There can be no other interpretation. Now, I'm not suggesting, I'm talking about one incident, and I fully recognize that. But I did what I felt compelled to do, and I reported the incident to the police. In the same way, I objected, Mr. Searle, at the last Borough Council meeting, where you drew an analogy between certainly myself and some of my colleagues sitting at this table to camp guards. That was precisely your term. I don't think you were referring to day camp guards. Perhaps you were. But camp guards, I would say, for most people, is well understood. It's not normally day camp, summer camp guards. It's not even, you didn't even use the term prison guards. You chose to use the term camp guards.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Searle.
First of all, I totally agree that the incident you referred to is absolutely outrageous, but it's got nothing to do with anti-Semitism. He was accusing you of something else, which is also horribly inappropriate. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe I referred to camp guard mentality, which is a phrase in common use for a certain mentality, which I will not repeat the meaning of it, because I already said it last time, but in no way, it's recognized that it in no way implies that the person is being accused of being as such. We're referring to the mentality which allows people to let things go by.
Much better.
I'm calling for the vote.